Aaron, tell your story. Tell your story. This is some fucked up, and this happened in Korea.
Which one?
Which one?
Which one? I mean, like,
There's not one that sticks out?
the one where he slapped me in practice, that one?
Yes.
Wow.
I think that's like some Korean bullshit that Americans would never even. This is not even a thing anymore.
The first story I was going to tell was like a story that I had like when I was playing in like a minor league, you know, trying to figure out how to go pro, right? We're in the locker room, the coach puts up on the board.
This is in America?
This is
or
America, right?
America.
So I'm playing for the ABA, right?
Okay.
Like they were trying to resurrect this thing.
survey.
And this coach, like, we're getting ready to go a game, and he just wrote up on the board, pussy. Right? And everyone's like, what? He's like, y'all know what we're playing for. He's like, if you guys don't go out there and fucking play good, you guys think you're gonna get any fucking pussy tonight?
Oh, that's a motivational speech, bro.
We're sitting down there, all of us like, I'm trying to get a job overseas. You know, we weren't even getting paid. Our owner wasn't paying us, and he writes pussy on the board, right? And we're like, okay, coach, because our coach wasn't like an attractive guy. He obviously
Randy? Is that Randy?
This was the guy from Belling.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Turner. I was gonna tell that because everyone was just confused. We're like, you're trying to motivate us, and everyone's like, pussy. Like, what are we doing in the two-man game? Like, what are we doing in the pick and roll? Like, we didn't know. It was kind of confusing. But when I came to Korea later. It's my first year here. I'm excited to finally get to join my brother, playing Korea and all this kind of stuff, right? And getting to practice, and I can't speak Korean, so I don't know what the fuck is going on. The translator translating half because you know it's a difficult job to be a translator because you can't translate everything. You know, as I found out later. And then we're sitting in practice, and like I'm trying to learn the defensive rules and everything because I'm playing as a local, not as an import anymore. And you know, and I've been an import my whole life, so like the way I looked at basketball was just different. Come over here, I'm learning all that shit, it's fucking hard. I'm talking to my brother every day, I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on? He's like, yo, you just got, there's some shit that you just got to understand and learn. And he helped me out like a lot, especially like those first couple of years, because this shit was just so different than any place I ever played. And then we're in practice one day, and like I make a defensive mistake, and the coach is screaming at me, I don't understand what the hell he's saying. He comes up and just fucking smacks me in the face.
What?
In practice.
Sade.
Right?
Like slap.
Like
or
slap
punch.
me,
Slap.
Like slap me. He's an older guy, you know, he's probably like 60 years old at the time. And
Disclaimer: this is normal behavior.
You know?
And by the way,
Korea.
were you Eric Sandrin at that time, or were you Isujin at that
So
time?
I had just given up my citizenship. I just became a Korean citizen, right?
So you weren't a.
I was no longer a U.S. citizen.
Okay.
And so like, I remember I was still learning my Korean name, right?
Yeah.
Like people call my Korean name, I was like, oh, this guy yelling at me, man. Oh, he's mad. And then like this all happens in practice. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like going crazy. Practice stops. You could hear a pin drop. Because like. You know, I'm like at that time I was still pretty big, you know, like, and I'm definitely taller than this guy. And this old man just came up and smacked me in practice.
Gargamel.
Right? And I look at him and like I'm thinking, I'm like, dude, should I fucking rip this guy's head off? Like I'm gonna go to jail because the story isn't gonna be like this guy hit me. It's gonna be that I destroyed an old man.
That's some crazy American, you know, like when
the two imports in practice were like, E, chill out, E. Like they're trying to calm me down because they can see like, no, I was the emotional player, but like I wasn't gonna go fight my coach, right? But I've never been hit before, you know, by the coach, right? So I look at him and I'm fucking going crazy. I'm like in my mind trying to figure out what to do, and I just like looked at him. He took a step back because he was like, oh shit.
He probably realized.
Did I do
He's
something
probably
bad?
never seen a Korean react that way.
You know, because like, you know, a Korean probably would get hit and like,
They'll put their head down.
I looked at him right in his fucking eye and I was like, you fucking crazy? And then I walked out of practice.
Good.
You know? Walked out of practice, called my brother, and I was like, D, you're never gonna fucking believe what happened in practice today. He said, what happened? And like, there's no way that you were prepared for that phone call.
I was not prepared. I believe because I've seen that behavior. I've seen worse than that. I've seen people get hit with hockey sticks out here.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
I didn't think it would get hurt like to you.
Yeah.
But what was he trying to prove?
Dave, what do you think?
What do you think? What do you think is happening?
It's a mystery.
Well, okay, so he came up and smacked you because the defensive.
Again, I also made a defensive mistake. You and me the same.
Lesson, play defense.
But real quick, we were talking about like, you know, the old man who grew up in that kind of an era, right?
Yeah.
In the 80s and before, even early 90s and stuff, at school, teachers
normal.
used to hit the students.
Yeah, this stuff still goes on in Korea.
Teachers used to hit their students.
It's like asserting your dominance over the situation.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about Korean culture to know that, you know, if that's sort of the thing that they do.
And
wake
if you were
up.
still Eric Sandrin, you wouldn't have gotten hit.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah. That's why I asked you.
Yeah,
were you
I was
an import
I was
or were
fully
you a
Korean
Korean?
by then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know what to do because like I've been I've been in heated situations like, where you get in like, chest to chest conversation with your coach, but like, the coaches know. I mean, our coach in college, like he got in a fight with one of the players and he like got one of his eardrums like knocked out. Because like in the States, like you'll fight.
Yeah, in America, if a coach hits you,
Then you're gonna
you
hit
better
back.
be prepared to get knocked out.
Yeah. Because like in the States or anywhere else in the world, if that happens, you're gonna throw it down.
Okay. What happened to your relationship at the end of that?
So like I went and talked to the GM and I was like,
I mean, like 6 months later.
6 months later, yeah, it's fine.
It was
Did you
fine.
see that asshole around?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is like, I didn't understand a lot at that time,
Yeah.
right? But then as time went on, I'm like, all right, like, like this is the environment that he grew up in, right?
Yeah.
And like, it's an environment that I knew nothing about. So I was shocked as fuck. And I'm sure he saw that shock on my face when I was like, I'm about to rip your head off, But like, it's an interesting thing, like that I've learned, like, it seems like things happen and then Korean people have a beautiful way of being able to just move on and
Be friends like nothing
and be
happened.
completely friends. Like, hey, remember that shit that happened? Now we're like close.
Except the dude talks about it on a podcast years later.
No, I see him like there's it's not like I hate the dude. He doesn't hate me. And like honestly, when he smacked me, there was no like he was just like really probably frustrated with my lack of defense, which coaches have been frustrated with that for years. But like that's the way he expressed it. And like, so I'm not like, man, this motherfucker did this, blah blah blah. I was
You're quite
at that time. Yeah,
So he was trying to motivate you, maybe in his mind.
I'm sure he was like, man, I don't know how to get this guy to play defense. Maybe this will work.
It did.
On that note, let's motivate each other by slapping each other. Okay. All right?
Dave.
Okay. Dang. Oh man.